going well enough at the moment.
Okay, let's have a full look at the betting and see if anything is tickling anyone's fancy. And then I will ask you about the likely tactics in the race and how you expect this to pan out. Hats off to Larry is the 11-4 favourite. Clemento's just drifted slightly out to 4s, where he joins Brancaster. Never Surrender has drifted a tad as well, out to 7-1. Ditto against the odds, out to 8s. Some interest in Amanto, into 10s now from 12s. Rydans is 16s and been back from 25s. Barahi 16s. 16-1 also Becca Campbell. She's been a variety of prices. And Bamako de Châtelet is the outside of the field. So the pattern of this race, John?
Given what we normally see from their running styles, Barahi generally goes from the front, and I will imagine, I'm not saying he'll get an easy lead, but it'll certainly be up there from the outset anyway. Hopefully, Becca Campbell will break okay tonight. Yeah, I'd imagine Barahi will take them along in the early stages. Whether he's good enough to be hanging on there in the closing stages, we'll have to see.
Are you anticipating a good pace or not?
Not particularly, no, nothing special. Probably not as much of a call as the last race, but he went slow in front of Barahi last week at Sandown because it was the mile and 6, and he probably tried to catch out the favourite. It was not a bad little ride, actually. It was worth trying something different. He'll probably just go just a steady enough pace here tonight.
Yeah, it looks like we're going to be slightly late off. No alacrity about loading at the moment. Just that looks like Becca Campbell just having her girth checked, or she was. But I'm hearing from Mike that loading is commencing in this, what should be a competitive race, but it's just a case of whether some of them are going to be able to hit form off their current marks. And then you've got the likes of Hats Off Larry, who's actually, Hats Off to Larry rather, who's actually in very good form.
Yeah, there's a few of these who've got a little bit to prove at the moment, and you don't know if the likes of Rydan are going to come back to form. Never Surrender we mentioned as well. It's just not for me at the moment, but his connections have Never Surrendered. They might have seen a little bit more last time in that race, but I'd like to see a little bit more as well.
He's a horse that can be ridden quite versatilely as well, though, isn't he? Yeah. So they can go to the front with him, they can hold him up, so I suppose there's a possibility for Charlie Bennett to be able to react to what happens in the race. Yeah,
I was just wondering if they might just take a bit of a lead going up to 1.5 miles here tonight. He's been doing his races over 1.25 miles lately, but just hasn't been finishing his races at all. Yeah, this time last year he was competing in some decent handicaps. He wasn't threatening to win any of them, but he was thought good enough and rated high enough to be going for them.
Just thinking about Goodwood the rest of the week. Any horses that you're interested in coming up in the remaining couple of days at Goodwood?
Foxtrot Lady in the Stewards Cup on Saturday, right. But I'm not. I've had a very, very brief look. I'll have to look through it better, but she got a low draw, and at first glance, the only pace angles I could see were pretty high, well, very high, right, way up in the 20s. So I hope it doesn't end up as a draw race.
And you and I were both interested in Baritone in our final race tomorrow at Goodwood, but I noticed that lots of other people are also. Yes,
beaten to the punch there, I think, haven't we been? Yeah, ran really well in, I think, what looks a pretty hot handicap at Ascot about 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And there's only 6 runners, I think, in that occasion, but I think the first 2 are okay, and Baritone might well be okay as well. It's a race that Sir Michael Sack won a couple of years ago, the Goodwood one tomorrow, with a horse who's turned out to be okay.
Yes, the horse was returning from a bit of a break, wasn't he, at Ascot as well, last time?
He ran in a Chester Maiden as well, actually not Chester Maiden, I think the Never Surrender one last year, but it's often a very good race. And
it
I
had
think
infrastructure in it, didn't it?
Chief Ironside, I think, won it this year, It's normally a pretty decent event.
OK, last couple going forward for our second race here, the 1.5 mile handicap. Let's join Mike.
Yeah, I don't know why such a delay, Lydia. No idea, very odd. Against the odds has now completed the lineup. I think, no, Barari's the last one in. That's it. He's drawn widest of all. They're set. They're off. Never Surrender was the slowest to break here for the Smarkets.com handicap over 1.5 miles. Hats off to Larry, the favourite in the yellow jacket. He got off to a decent start. Barari is away well too from his outside draw as they settle down. Racing in the beige jacket in third place is Clemento. Jason Watson in the saddle there against the odds behind in the red and white colours. Rydan racing just behind these leaders with Brancaster alongside him. And then Bamako de Châtelet, first ride here at Epsom tonight for Japanese visitor Yuga Kawada. And behind him Amanto is on the inside as they make their way up the hill. On the outside, Never Surrender, who's racing alongside Amanto. Just driven along Becca Campbell. She's just been a little bit outpaced there at that stage. They completed the first half mile. They've gone past the mile start on the far side, and taking them across towards the top of the hill is Hats Off to Larry, who leads by 1.5 lengths to Barari racing in second, with Clemento on the inside in third. Against the odds of Pat Cosgrave is fourth. Rydan is next, in the hands there of George Wood now. Wider out than Bamako de Châtelet getting into it. Then just behind is Brancaster, Sylvester de Souza. Green Jacket of Never Surrender. A bit of a drop in class for him tonight. Charlie Bennett picking up a spare with Amanto and Franny Norton on his inside. And still looking on at the back, Georgia Cox on Becca Campbell as the runners race on down the hill. Inside the final half mile they are now as they approach the turn at Tattenham Corner here. This iconic landmark in world racing, and hats off to Larry and Charlie Bishop making the running as they come down the hill. Leading to Barari in second now, against the odds racing on the inside in third. Rydan the blue jacket, Bamako de Châtelet the grey. Brancaster's being driven, is trying to get a bit of a run going for Sylvester de Souza's gone fourth now though, but hats off to Larry, is keeping up the pace here as they pass the 2 furlong marker. Clear by about a length. Never Surrender's come from some way back, he is hanging a bit, but he's drawing alongside, hats off to Larry, and strikes the front. Wider out Amanto in the hands of Franny Norton with the cheek pieces, but it's Never Surrender who leads by a length and a half from Amanto inside the final 100 yards, and Never Surrender, a drop in class for him today, defies top weight Charlie Bennett in the saddle. Running off a second, extraordinarily enough, was Becca Campbell, who was never going, and back in third, Amanto.
A fine spare ride for Charlie Bennett to pick up. Never Surrender has won for Charles Hills, despite looking a little bit awkward with his head carriage and hanging to his left all the way down the camber. He was able to get past, hats off to Larry, and then stayed on strongly to the line, something I was slightly concerned about, but he's seen this out really well. It looks as though the hard work that Georgia Cox put into her ride on Becca Campbell has been rewarded with second place. It looks unlikely from an early stage. The horse wasn't really travelling early on, but it looks as though she has stayed on to grab second ahead of Amanto with the sheepskin cheek pieces, who was staying on, tried to lay down a challenge but never quite able to get to the winner. Franny Norton and Ali Stronge in third place. So there is Never Surrender. A drop in grade has helped him win, and he's done so quite nicely in the end.
Yeah, first go to 0 to 75, and it's a fleet.